The boundaries of the sport of Ultimate have been pushed forward once again as top-level Women's Ultimate will conclude the 2018 San Francisco FlameThrowers season as they welcome familiar foes, the Seattle Cascades. Alongside Manisha Dayani, my name is Stephen Davies. A historic night here in Oakland. Your thoughts on tonight's game?
I'm so excited to be a part of tonight. As you've stated yourself, this is an all-women's game between the San Francisco FlameThrowers and the Seattle Cascades. This has been, frankly, to me, a rivalry in the making. We have obviously seen both of these teams carry women on their rosters throughout the seasons, but this is a chance to move the men off the field and see what the women can do on their own. I am thrilled to be a part of tonight, and I'm hopeful that you will continue to join and stay with us as we watch this exciting game.
One of the stars of the show tonight for the FlameThrowers will be the 2018 Callahan winner, Jacqueline Kobe Wynn.
Yes, definitely. One of many players on this roster. Obviously, this is a roster top to bottom of talented players coming out of the Bay Area. I think it's no secret right now that the Bay Area is home to some of the deepest talent pool in the nation, but so is Seattle, which is why this game is so exciting. These are top women club players coming together for one time to be able to play together. And it'll be very exciting to see women who really do play on separate rosters in the normal season coming together to try and build chemistry and, more importantly, give you a show. And I guarantee you they will.
It should be an exciting and historic evening here at Laney College. Opening pull.
I've been coming to Mobius for over a year, and it's changed my life. Ever since I started coming here, I've gotten in more shape. I've met great people.
If you're just new and you want to start out, you don't have to find your own way to do it. You get people that are showing you exactly what you need to do, so it gives you a perfect program.
The classes are great. There's high energy. We like to have a great time. They play great music, and we get a workout in super quick, and we can get on with our day.
One of our successes has always been able to find the B personalities, and the B personality just stands for Butler, which means fitting into our organization. We could have been a much bigger company if we had chosen to be, but it's been the philosophy of both myself, Bill, and the leadership team to stay at a size that we really know all of our team members and their family members, because we're only as good as the team member sitting next to us.
Welcome back to Laney College in Oakland as we get ready for Elite Women's Ultimate to conclude this 2018 San Francisco FlameThrowers season. Stephen Davies alongside Manisha Dayani. And Manisha, it's got to be some nerves in the stomachs of these players right now.
No, I don't actually think so. I think these women have been ready for this game. They've been excited about this game. They've been talking about this game now for months. And I'll tell you, this conversation's been going on much longer than that as well. I think right now these women are just excited to show you at home what they can do on the field.
The FlameThrowers then in the white uniforms. They'll defend the south end zone. And the Cascades in the navy uniforms will receive the opening pull. We mentioned it briefly in our pregame. You were certainly familiar with a lot of these players for the FlameThrowers here tonight, and Seattle to a degree as well.
Yeah, I think sometimes to a benefit and sometimes to my own detriment. I have been able to both play with these women, coach against a lot of these women as well. And I'm just excited, having just had that familiarity, knowing what these women are capable of bringing to the field. My biggest excitement for today will be how these women work together and showcase not only the individual skill sets, but of course how they've been able to build chemistry and play on an AUDL field.
Let's look at the starting lineup then for Seattle. I'm excited to see both Steph Lim and Rory Tickholm, both of whom were unable to participate in the FlameThrowers Cup a couple of weeks back.
And yet also stalwarts, you know, they've been both playing on the
Right.
open roster as well throughout the season, and I'm sure they're excited now to have female counterparts on the line with them today. And for many of those players, you know, we're looking now at the FlameThrowers rosters. I mean, these are a lot of college grads, recent college grads.
Especially looking forward to seeing Julia Butterfield, a recent Stanford graduate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I see a large sign of her head on the sideline over there. I imagine there's some Stanford fans here Excited to see. We have 3 Stanford players on the FlameThrowers roster today.
Jacqueline Nguyen also will be a big factor in today's game. We expect her to play on both the O and D line. Incidentally, just going back to your point real quick, Steph Lim, out of all the female players in the AUDL, played the most points, 70 this season for the Cascades. So we are about all set to go on a beautiful summer evening here in Oakland. San Francisco again, as we mentioned, defending the south end zone here at Laney. And they will be thrown into the sun as we're underway.
And that was a pull from Julia Butterfield, again, one of the players we were highlighting at the beginning of this game, the recent Stanford graduate who originally was playing at Notre Dame.
So Seattle will get us underway. This is Nicole Kramer. She's wearing 41. Back to Rory Titcomb, no doubt excited to be out here on the field at Laney tonight. Now over to Samia Ismail. She's wearing 66.
Yeah, and she's actually a teammate of Rory. Well, I can't really say that. Rory's her coach, to be honest. Rory's been coaching the Seattle Riot Club women's team, and Samia is a practice player for that roster this year.
That bounced through the hands of Ismail. Almost stayed up long enough for Cascades player to make a catch on the doorstep, but a turnover now, and the FlameThrowers will have their first possession of the night, and it's Michelle McGee, who goes by Hydra, wearing 59, will get us underway.
Again, another Stanford player, one of 3 Stanford players we were highlighting, throwing to Kobe, who is right now a teammate of hers on Nightlock. And right now, I really like the movement of this disc.
Uncorking one is Butterfield. This catch is going to be just shy. Did it get into the end zone? Not quite.
That
catch
was
is
a
made.
Great throw by Butterfield. Something I'm very familiar seeing.
Mara Saltzman sends us across to Butterfield, and we have our first goal of the evening.
A break from the FlameThrowers, yeah. And what was exciting about this play, I know we're about to see the replay, realize again that was Butterfield who threw that throw, who then became the actual goal receiver in this game. That is following your throws. It's something I always talk about as a coach, and it's something I appreciate in players.
Again, Mara Saltzman made the catch right on the doorstep, and then the easiest of catches there for Julia Butterfield, the opening goal here on the evening.
Exciting play. Of course, it's always nice to open with the break. It makes obviously everyone on the O-line and the D-line just feel that much better. It lifts a lot of that pressure that we may be, some of those players may be feeling. But again, to me, this is just an indication of how excited they are to play.
Tricia Anderson gets this back underway. This pull will carry well over the midfield line. What was more difficult pulling from the south end zone here at Laney is the wind blows from the top right corner of your screen diagonally down to the left. But by Laney standards, not quite as windy as some nights we've been here during the 2018 season.
And right now you're just seeing a lot of movement between the handlers at this point. There's a lot of spacing downfield for those cutters. I imagine their goal right now is to try and create space for some large unders, but we'll see if that's what their actual strategy was, or if right now they're just trying to get that big goal that they just saw the FlameThrowers hit.
Two-handed catch there by the captain, Taylor Hartman. Back to the center. Space to work with now for the Cascades. That throw a little high. Nice acrobatic play to keep that in bounds. And the throw from Tiffany Fan to PX Wrong for the first goal of the night for the Cascades.
Unfortunately, that was a little bit of a defensive lap, because what ends up happening when that disc goes up, I think the defense starts to think, oh, it's a turnover. And as a result, Ellen Rim was just a little bit out of position for that next pass. But credit the Cascades to recognize, hey, she's catching that disc. You're going to keep running.
Tiffany Fan aware of the sideline there, keeping both feet in bounds. So minute 51 gone here in the first quarter of play. Each team has a goal, courtesy of Butterfield for the FlameThrowers and Wrong for Seattle.
And it's very exciting, by the way. I'm not sure, for those of you who've only seen part of the roster, I need to highlight this Cascades roster has a number of recent high school graduates. I'm going to say that again. High school graduates. You would think we were talking about college graduates, but because Seattle's depth of players and of interest in the Seattle area, we have players who at the point that they are 18 years old can be considered both professional and are good enough to be here.
Tasha won there. Bobbled that a couple times and is able to find Kobe. Still count rising. Dishes it back to Audrey Lyman. She was participated here at home during the FlameThrowers Cup. No fewer than 7 FlameThrowers players on this current roster participated that night Melina Wiebe, perhaps the star of the evening there. 3 goals and an assist. And there's a drop from Gina Schumacher.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that was a D. I think what ended up happening was that Gina was trying to take the space, and then her teammate came into that and allowed the defender to tip the disc.
Ikram Elmi, she's wearing 36 for the Cascades. Gets us back underway. Down here on the near side. This is Jess Spalding.
This is a break opportunity.
Great throw by Spalding, and the goal for Seattle.
And now we're back on serve. This is an opportunity now for the Cascades to continue to try and roll.
That's a beautiful touch there from Jess Spalding to find Lexi Garrity for her first goal of the night.
And Lexi Garrity, by the way, a player from Mixtape. I truthfully do not know. I don't know if she was at Worlds. There was a World Championship that just concluded back in a week ago in Ohio. I know she's listed on that roster. I wasn't sure if she was there, and I apologize for those who might know at home. But, you know, what you're combining here for this roster is a number of both mixed players and women's club players that are being put together, again, with, and for the Cascade's sake, a number of high school players who haven't even made a club team yet. That's why it's so exciting to watch them out here today.
And that was definitely something I wanted to talk to you a little bit about later on in the game, is where the women's game is at the high school level. So it's certainly great to see the Cascades are ahead of the game as far as that's concerned.
It's the advantage of living in Seattle right now.
Ellen Rim sends this one downfield, giving chases. Kobe, can Kobe get there? Lays out and just can't quite make the catch.
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna harp on her a little bit on this replay, because the timing of that layout is one of the reasons she wasn't able to catch it. So if you notice that she jumped over, and to be clear, I was guilty of this too. But you take one extra step, you can actually come underneath it, and she might have caught it.
Just a little bit too much elevation from Kobe that time. That's a nice running catch made there by Ikram Elmi. Elmi finds Gina Tickham. She uncorks one here. Giving chase is Charlie Eide. She is able to hold on. Making a run downfield is Emily Zukowski. She was trying to pick her out. And a one-handed catch on the doorstep. Nicely done by Lauren Patty. Patty looks around, finds Gina Tickham. And the throw back inside to Zukowski is good. And the Cascades now have a 2-goal lead.
And just to be clear, that was predicated on Gina Titcom's looked like to me it was a break side throw to Charlie Eide. It opened up all the entire field. It allowed then the Cascades to come into the end zone and then play small ball, which, you know, again, for a lot of these women, especially Charlie Eide and Gina Titcom, who are teammates on Seattle Riot, I mean, there's just familiarity there, right? You know exactly where they want and where they want to be, and they know where to put that disc.
Easy throw there from Titcomb to Zukowski. So we now have 3 different scores on the evening for the Cascades so far, and that Seattle Riot team, of course, with Gina, Charlie Eide, and Steph Lim, victors at the Worlds last weekend, as you mentioned.
They were. It was a great run for Riot. It was really fun to watch.
Great distance on the pull. Long field now for the FlameThrowers to work with. This is Angela I.
Yeah, she's known as LG to her teammates. I don't actually know how she got that nickname, to be honest, but, you know, I don't question these things anymore.
So the FlameThrowers down by 2. Here's Gina Schumacher. Plenty of experience for her. 61 points played during the regular AUDL season.
And at this point right now, you know, one of the fun things to watch Gina play is that Gina has the ability to get the disc every other. When she wants to, that's what she can do.
The blade there, thrown nicely, and a chance for a goal, and a one-handed snag by Audrey Lyman.
You know what's very cool about that last point? I hope we see a replay. Those were your handlers who were coming down the field, who were making space for each other. Both Audrey, again, started behind the line of scrimmage at the beginning of this point, and she's the one scoring the goal.
We'll take a break here on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network with the Cascades up by 1.
Our smiles can light up a room. Our work can light up an entire city. We're the men and women of the IBEW, working with a code of
first couple of minutes then from Laney College in Oakland, the Cascades, with a 1-goal lead. We've had 5 different scores on the night so far.
And right now, again, to be clear, also Cascades are still up a break at this point. So this D-line for the FlameThrowers, their goal needs to be already, and I think it's never too early to start thinking, let's get the break back.
Here's Taylor Hartman. She'll exchange passes with a teammate. That was with Nicole Kramer. Steph Lim, far side. Back to the center now for Allison Horton.
Allison Horton, by the way, a Riot alum, playing with obviously a current Riot player in Steph Lim.
Back to Horton once again. Working this near sideline is Taylor Hartman. Drawing attention.
Stall setting high.
Yep. Oh, and a bobble and a hold there by Tiffany Fan, and threading the needle and finding the open player in the end zone for the score. And it's Ari Alderbot with her first goal of the night.
You know, it's funny, Tiffany Pham's face was, I just need to get rid of this. As soon as she got it. That was close. I think at that point we were nearly a stall, and she's like, oh, see it, gotta go.
She did a nice job there with the concentration, holding on.
It's really great when you can see a player who can be able to like gain possession and then quickly assess what she saw. I mean, you're right, that was a small opening. But not only was she able to assess, she was able to get the throw off just outside the stretched hands of the FlameThrowers player.
Hustling onto the field then was Michelle McGee.
I think my understanding is that the FlameThrowers are playing sort of set lines, but I think they're rotating a 1 to 2 players into that set line. That's probably why Michelle didn't know she was playing.
Hallmark of Coach Joshua Greeno, 2018 coach for the Open team. So the FlameThrowers trailing by 2. Here's Audrey Lyman. She already has a goal on the evening. Now to Schumacher. Angela I.
And she's hitting Maggie O'Connor.
O'Connor with the orange hat. One of the few players on the field tonight donning the headwear.
You know, I don't know why. I think women don't normally like wear. I mean, I take that back. There are definitely women who like to play in hats, and then there are a lot of women who just don't like it.
O'Connor has a step on a defender, now waiting for reinforcements to arrive. Schumacher's steaming towards it. And the throw and the catch and the goal for the FlameThrowers. And it is Gina Schumacher. She's on the board. Her first goal of the night to go with her 2 scored during the regular season.
I'm pretty sure in that point she touched the disc no less than 5 times. Pretty sure she's just coming underneath, dishing it off, coming underneath, dishing it off. But again, it's all set up by these long, deep cuts that Gina can cut. And you have to respect it because Gina is such a threat downfield that you have to respect that deep throw. It allows her to come back underneath. And that was a nice little button hook by Gina.
Having played the most points of any of the female players on this current FlameThrowers roster during the regular season, what type of experience do you think she garnered playing all those points during the regular season?
I mean, obviously the dimensions of the field are different than what we are seeing in the club division. And so as a result, you have to start to think about space a little bit differently. You get to be able to utilize both width and depth, but then contrast that with the less stall count. So the timing of your cuts must start much earlier, but you do have more liberty and freedom both on the break side of the field, again, the side that the mark is trying to take away, as well as the open side.
Looking around but unable to get there was PX Wrong. She looked left and the disc was coming to her right side, and by the time she made the adjustment, it was already too late. Now Kobe uncorks one downfield, cutting back to it, and making the one-handed catch. Outstanding from Ellen Rim.
That had quite a curve on that throw.
Now Saltzman back to Rim for the goal. And now the FlameThrowers have 4 different scorers on the evening as they tie it back up at 4 apiece.
Again, and we were talking about they had to get this break back, and it's great. You should do it in that first quarter. Establish right now that this is not going to be a trading game. It was an exciting throw from Kobe, enough that Ellen was able to both just understand where she had to put her body to get the disc, and then a great job just sort of coming into the end zone, button hooking around. We use that term button hook. It means you start in one direction and you turn around to the other side because the defense is committed to the side you started your cut on.
Now on rim, wrong-footing Rory Titcomb on that occasion as well.
And you can see Rory was upset at herself. She did a little hand clap there. You know, I'm sure she's excited to be playing, having just spent the last week coaching.
So she will field in for.
I mean, to your point, I think you mentioned earlier, the wind may be factoring into these pulls at the moment.
We always take the indication of the flags that are on the goalposts here, and also the flag of the United States, which sits right next to the scoreboard in the south end zone. But we've noticed at times that the markers on the goalposts sometimes blowing perpendicular to the goalposts. So
yeah, I think throughout the game the wind may be changing, and so what you start is sort of these expected throws.
That was almost a drop there by Alderbot, but she recovers well. Now dumps it off, a one-handed catch there made by Titcomb. Making a cut downfield is Alderbot. She had a big step on a defender there.
Deep throw coming.
And this throw is going to be underthrown, and offensive player turning defensive there was Ari Alderbot, swatting that away. All action first quarter here. Nice crossfield throw that was thrown right to a Cascades player.
I think there was some miscommunication on that between Patty Anderson and her receiver. I know we didn't get to see it on the screen, but I think what ended up happening is the San Francisco player stopped her cut, and as a result, resulted in the easy turnover. So it looks like the FlameThrowers are taking a timeout right now, just kind of think to regroup. And, you know, I think one of the hardest positions to start in offense is trapped on that sideline. And Josh Greeno, of course, coaching it up on the sideline, trying to talk to his players about where to position themselves coming out of this timeout. I mean, it's one of the values of having timeouts in the middle of games is be able to just talk to your offense or your defense and just say, hey, let's get on the same page. And right now, to be clear, also, we have to thank our sponsors.
We do. Catahoula Coffee Company, the best local coffee roasters in the East Bay. By the Bay Area Disc Association, teaching ultimate in the East Bay to underserved kids. By Cliff Bar for the healthy and active player. Grab a Cliff Bar, I should say, and eat healthy. By Boone Technical Clothing, the clothing partner for the AUDL and the FlameThrowers. Boone Technical Clothing is a performance sports apparel company based in the Philippines, focusing on quality. Boone aims to give athletes the edge to perform. By Kinetic Arts Center, circus, fitness, and inspiration. By the Minuteman Press of Berkeley, a great community partner, fantastic local printing. So thanks to all our sponsors that have presented this 2018 San Francisco FlameThrowers season. We definitely could not have done it without you. So Natasha One will get us back underway.
That's actually Lexa Stompa right now. I know we've had a little bit, for the folks at home, our numbers up here are actually wrong sometimes, but thankfully because I know some of these players, this is why they brought me on.
I think so. We had a lot of number changes here before tonight's game, so I appreciate you bailing me out of that one. Audrey Lyman, who we definitely know is wearing number 11, has the disc, and that is through the hands of a Cascades player.
Well, actually, that was a great heads-up poach defense. That was not her player. She came in, saw the space had to be going.
It was Ikra and Elmi there.
And now she's standing on the doorstep.
Now it's Jess Spaulding.
Just outside.
Lexi Garrity surveys the scene. Back to Spaulding.
I'm not sure she realizes where the end zone line is.
And now I think she does. Spaulding will become...
They don't even need the other 5 players.
will become the 5th different scorer for the Cascades. And now we will take a break here. All tied up. Well, I should say 5-4 Cascades. Not a lot to choose then between these two teams as Elite Women's Ultimate concludes its 2018 San Francisco FlameThrowers season. FlameThrowers incidentally eliminated on the final day by these Cascades, so no doubt these players perhaps for the FlameThrowers wanting to exact a little bit of revenge over the Cascades tonight if they can.
You know what's great, actually, I'm noticing a number of the male FlameThrowers players here in the audience, here to support their female counterparts.
Coach Joshua Greeno did say that the guys would turn out in force tonight, so try and get it. There with the D, and that throw from Titcombe is scraped up off the ground by Elmi. Elmi's been impressive here in his opening quarter so far. That one is swatted and deflected, and almost one-handed catch by Lexi Garrity as it went to the ground.
Now that was Angela I, and I will yell at her later to catch her knees.
Schumacher Butterfield there. Tremendous extension.
Classic Butterfield. This is so great. You know the number of times I've seen that woman make this play over and over. I would be a rich woman right now. If I had $1. I really hope we can see a replay of that. That was a phenomenal grab from Butterfield for a throw that was ahead of her. And this is the thing. She gets up, assesses the field, throws a break side throw to a wide open Audrey Lyman. Again, your handler going downfield. A great grab by Butterfield. Yeah, you show her again.
Audrey Lyman becomes our first double scorer of the evening for either team.
And again, let's start. She's our handler. Going downfield, figuring out how to get space downfield. It's been really fun to watch.
Tricia Anderson gets us back underway. Crowd really making themselves heard here in front of the broadcast booth of Laney. High-scoring affair on the cards, perhaps. This one is uncorked, and maybe just a little bit too much as Taylor Hartman gives chase.
So, Ismail is a recent grad from Western Washington, and she is notorious for just being able to uncork these almost full field length throws. It is her strength, and her ability to control those throws as she gets older as a player will be a huge boon to her. Everyone's just all over the ground right now.
Here is Hydra. And now Anderson. Under 2 minutes then remaining in this first quarter of play. All action so far, and that it's just through the hands of the FlameThrowers player.
That was Mackenzie Bailey, I believe.
It was indeed. Throw from Rory Titcombe to Steph Lim. Haven't called her name much tonight, surprisingly. There's another one uncorked, and again, despite the best efforts of Hartman to give chase, a little bit overthrown. And that is Samia Ismail.
Again, her ability to throw these long bombs is, I'm sure, one of the reasons that Riot took her on as practice player this year. Obviously someone who is very adept at being able to just extend the field. And right now I think the next step for her will be, as a player in her own development, will be to be able to time those throws and to get the right touch on it so those receivers can run them down. You know, what's really cool to watch right now is, for the most part, the FlameThrowers are very content with going to the open side of the field. They're not really using the break side of the field. The Cascades seem to be sort of more committed to this idea that we want to go to the break side. We want to utilize the full length of the field.
And now you can see that Laney Wynn whip up as under some duress there was Shayla Harris. She's wearing 61 for the FlameThrowers. So a chance now with 30 seconds remaining in the half for the Cascades perhaps to go into the second period with a lead. Plenty of time for him to work with here.
Again, we're looking at the break side that the Cascades team is very comfortable going side to side.
And a one-handed catch by Rory Titcombe for her first goal, and now 6 different scores for the Cascades. So with under 10 seconds remaining in the quarter, Cascades retake the lead once again.
Again, we're still on serve. Let's make sure we remember that. We're still currently on serve. Both teams have earned a break. Both teams have gotten breaks back. But that was a good hold by the Cascades, because this was an opportunity for the FlameThrowers to come in with a one-break lead into the second quarter, but a good hold by the Cascades.
San Francisco receiving down 5-6.
And this is just give-go ultimate. You know, the handler coming from back behind the line of scrimmage, coming up line. It's very difficult to defend, particularly if you start with a step in advance. So here's my question, because again, for a lot of these women's, they're playing under the ADL rules for the first time. What do they do with 11 seconds left? Are they looking for the deep bomb? Right now it's with Gina. I think they were trying to get it to Natasha Wan there. Sometimes the best offense is good defense. You're not going to get the disc.
An entertaining first period then from Laney College. The Cascades with the nose slightly in front here, 6-5. We'll take a break. Back with the second quarter here in just a few moments' time.
Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green. Family owned, Gray's Paints is the Bay Area's leading provider of Benjamin Moore paint, stains, and finishes. Gray's Paint will provide you unparalleled paint expertise, environmentally friendly products, and premium customer service to help you successfully navigate your project. Gray's Paint and Benjamin Moore, available at 4 Bay Area locations: Burlingame, San Mateo, Redwood City, and Menlo Park. Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green.
What makes our restaurants different, the other taquerias, we have a very unique service where everything's cooked right in front of you. The meats are grilled right fresh.
Let's look at the FlameThrowers huddle. Coach Joshua Greeno with his back to us, and the Cascades with a 6-5 lead as we begin the second.
So it looks like we're having a replay right now, and this was the turnover for the FlameThrowers. Again, it looks like it was Tiffany Pham, who basically came out off of her off of the woman she was defending, came in and just said, hey, you know what? I'm going to take care of this disc.
Great turnout, as you can see here at Laney, and your thoughts on what might transpire here in the second period?
You know, I'm excited. Like in both instances, we've seen the teams try to sort of spread the field out both laterally as well with just these deep shots. And I'm expecting more of the same, actually, for the second half. I mean, it's very clear that is the game plan for the FlameThrowers, is to sort of be able to utilize the middle of the field, use a thrower like Julia Butterfield to just expand the field with great receivers. And with the Cascades, it's about swinging the disc laterally, using these break throws to get open. It's different styles, and, you know, it's always fun to watch contrasting styles playing against each other.
Audrey Lyman, our only multi-goal scorer at this point for either team. The Cascades, good job of distribution with 6 different scores in the first period of play.
And that's also a reflection, I think, of how excited these women are to play with each other. They're looking to hit every receiver. They're just looking for the open people right now. You know, for the most part, it's been pretty good fundamental Frisbee, which is hit the open person, which is what is going to result in a distribution that looks like this.
Jess Spaulding gets us underway then in the second period. Cascades in the navy.
And starting off right.
Looks like that was an offsides.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
San Francisco down 1.
So now the FlameThrowers get to basically set their offense with. Looks like, again, Audrey starting with the disc.
Very few errors in that first period. I think maybe one stoppage of play, but an offsides to begin the second, and that throw was intended for Gina Schumacher but tailed away. So the Cascades catch.
I think there was actually a little bit of miscommunication. Gina was trying to shade to the right, and Audrey's throw went to the left, which is what the Cascades players saw. but a turnover, and one that they're going to need to get back.
Great throw from Gina Tickham now. And off to the races is Lexi Garrity. She's an acres of space here. Butterfield gives chase, and a collision there with Butterfield and Garrity. And Garrity took the forearm of Butterfield, who was just trying to reach up and grab the disc here.
Well, let's start with the fact that that was great closing speed, but then let's also talk about the fact that there was a collision here. And I'm not quite sure there was a way that Julia could have gotten that disc without colliding into Garrity, which I'm sure is what's being discussed at the moment. And the disc is awarded to Garrity.
Yeah, no malicious intent there whatsoever. But
again, we'll acknowledge the closing speed, but sometimes we also have to figure out how can you make this play safely.
The credit, though, to Butterfield, because Garrity was at least 7-8 yards in front of him.
That is a beautiful round break.
From Gina Titcomb, and the goal for the Cascades. And I believe that was Spalding.
It was Charlie Eide, I believe, who got the goal.
So Eide opens the scoring in the second period for the Cascades.
It was just a nice throw to space. Again, you know, you can start to already tell that these are players who play together. She knew where to put it out, and Charlie Eide started in the middle of the field. You couldn't even see her on the screen in that replay. Just knew to go out to that space. Easy throw as a result, but realize it starts actually with a very difficult throw of hitting that around.
Charlie Eide played 47 points during the regular season for the Cascades. And her first goal of the evening.
And now, at this point, the Cascades have now earned back another a break. So for the FlameThrowers, it's not only about holding this point, it's about being able to get that break back to the next point.
Great throw from Lyman in space to O'Connor. Schumacher cuts to the center. O'Connor had to get rid of it. Flick downfield. Spalding is there, and Spalding swats it away. Steps right in front there of Lexi Hassan and makes a fine play.
Yeah, it was a throw that started from Tashwan, and it just hung a little bit. And this is the thing that we talk about with especially with my players as well, is how do you maintain position when that disc starts to just hang? Spalding did a great job of just sort of taking the space where the disc was going to land and making a play.
Gina Tickham, a couple of assists and a mistake there as it goes through the hands of her fellow player. Now,
I think it's a little bit behind her. That's, I think, what contributed to that turnover.
So Lyman, throw downfield, giving chase, and unable to get there was Rex. Another nickname that's evolved.
Right,
time.
Her name is Lexi, and I don't quite know. I've coached her for 4 years. How we ended up at Rex, other than it sounds the same.
You, by the way, are going into your 8th season as UC Berkeley Pie Queens coach. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate to find a home with the Pie Queens and be a part of a program that I'm very proud of. And a number of the women on this roster right now in the FlameThrowers are Pie Queen alums. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to be a coach, to be involved in Ultimate at the college level. And I'm incredibly proud of the women that have come out of this program.
How proud of you of Kobe for the 2018 Callahan?
You know, I'm going to tell, I imagine everyone is saying, oh, what a surprise that was. I'm sure it was. But I will also tell you that having had the chance, oh, great D. Having had a chance to work with Kobe and understand how much she understood the importance of building this program, that she took a huge step back in PT this year. So we're seeing a replay right now. It's a little bit short from Lexi Hassan. Allowed for a great D from the Cascades player.
Cascades then leading by 2 here in the second period from Laney College in Oakland.
I've been coming to Mobius for over a year, and it's changed my life. Ever since I started coming here, I've gotten in more shape. I've met great people.
If you're just new and you want to start out, you don't have to find your own way to do it. You get people that are showing you exactly what you need to do, so it gives you a perfect program.
The classes are great. There's high energy. We like to have a great time. They play great music, and we get a workout in super quick, and we can get on with our day.
One of our successes has always been able to find the B personalities, and the B personality just stands for Butler, which means fitting into our organization. We could have been a much bigger company if we had chosen to be, but it's been the philosophy of both myself, Bill, and the leadership team to stay at a size that we really know all of our team members and their family members, because we're only as good as the team member sitting next to us.
Welcome back to Laney College. Cascades up by 2 after the timeout was called.
And a couple turnovers from the FlameThrowers. Again, they're just trying to get into the end zone, but shorting some of these throws, giving the Cascades a chance for another break.
Rory.
Deep look from Rory.
And a great two-handed catch there by Nicole Kramer. That silences the crowd here at Laney. And a slightly misguided throw there by Ismail. Cascades, maybe a chance to calm down just a little bit. Back to Rory Titcomb here on the near side.
Looking for a reset now.
Intently defended there by the FlameThrowers. That was nicely done by Patricia Anderson. Now to Kramer once again. To the center for Ismail. And Ismail with a perfect throw to the doorstep now for Kramer. And it is caught for the goal. And it's going to be Tiffany Fan. So again, the Cascades pick out a different scorer. That's now 8 different scores on the night.
Gina just outside realizes that, and she just gives it up and just a little push pass. And again, to the break side of the field, little pass. All predicated by way with Rory's throw from the beginning. Realize this play started with a huck on basically the FlameThrowers end zone's doorstep. Moving over and with one throw, able to gain half the field back, and then just played small ball, small ball, small ball till they found the receiver they were looking for.
We didn't mean to cut you off before we went to commercial, but if you'd like to conclude your thought about Kobe and
no, I mean, yeah, I've had the pleasure of coaching Kobe for 4 years, and you know, when we added 13 new players this year, there was a lot of discussion on how to integrate those players in, and for people who objectively saw Kobe did not play that much this past year, and it was mainly because I asked her to. And she was willing to do it, and I think that type of sacrifice from a player who is obviously incredibly talented is hard to find.
And of course, the first female signing for the FlameThrowers open roster as well. If we were to go to Lowe's the Pie Queen in Oakland, which pie would you recommend?
Are you kidding me? It's the fried chicken. That's why you go to Lowe's the Pie Queen.
Well, they said it's the pie on the website when I was reading it earlier on. That's
that's a great
stepping
steal.
in front there by Ikran Elmi. She's having quite the game so far for the Cascades. Now Chena has it. And that throw uncorked by Chena, just a little bit too high there for Kelly Jillian. She's wearing number 3 for the Cascades. First time we called her name tonight.
And this is just a good heads-up play. I mean, this is great heads-up play. This is a underground player who graduated from UW. Really excited to see actually a number of underground players on this roster.
One player we a little unfortunate not to see tonight, Marissa Rafter. She was also a Callahan winner back in 2016.
She was, yeah.
Originally on the roster, but unfortunately unable to participate in tonight's game.
She is here, though, however. I've been seeing her sort of trailing around the sidelines, talking to her teammates, keeping up the encouragement.
Gina Tickham, great throw. Elmi, a couple steps away. This one around, and another goal for Kennedy Heston. So 3 different scores now in the second quarter of play, 9 in total, and the Cascades all of a sudden have opened up a 4-goal lead.
And to be clear, just so you know, Hairston is a high school graduate. She is going to Carleton next year. I am fearful of how good Carleton is going to be next year. There's, in fact, 2 players who are going to Carleton next year, Ada Wright as well as Hairston. Again, these are high school graduates. Let's keep talking about how awesome that is.
Can you tell us a little bit while we have a moment about where the high school game is in Washington compared to California at this time?
Leaps and bounds ahead. I mean, I think right now I've had the pleasure. I was on the Bay Area Disc Board of Directors for 7 years. We are moving in the direction of what Seattle has is seemingly almost a generation ahead of us. The number of high school players coming out of Seattle and incredibly talented high school players. I mean, they become game changers as they get to college. So when I say 2 freshmen are are now going to go to Carleton, I can truly tell you Carleton's going to be a force because of 2 freshmen. And that's incredibly exciting to talk about, that as players that were developing at such a young age now.
Stall count rising here on the FlameThrowers. Back to McGee. And that throw just escapes the clutches there of Mackenzie Bailey.
I think there was just, they were caught in the wind a little bit.
And laying out, making the bid unsuccessfully, acrobatically, was Charlie Eide.
And just to be clear, of the throws that Ismail has thrown, that was the best one we've seen. It had way more touch. It gave a receiver a chance to get it. I know it was just let's say a foot or 2 away, but she's calibrating now, and you can see it. Oh, another turnover.
Stakes starting to pile up perhaps just a little bit for the FlameThrowers in the second quarter, and the Cascades make them pay. It's Spalding to Eide. Charlie now has the second goal of the quarter, second goal of the day.
And Cascades really putting it on at this point, and again, utilizing these break throws to be able to just find open receivers. For the downfield, it's got to feel frustrating. You're guarding the correct side of your girl, and yet the throws are going off to the side that you're not covering. And it's been really difficult for them to contain these throws. Once that first throw goes off, it's been sort of off to the races for the Cascades.
Eide becomes the first double goal scorer for the Cascades on the night. How do you see the FlameThrowers getting back into this now, down by 5?
Obviously they came in with a game plan. The game plan was to use the deep ball. And what we've seen, unfortunately, is just some execution errors with that deep ball. If those execution errors are removed, I think you see a closer game. I don't necessarily think you need to change your strategy just yet. It's still the second quarter. And again, there was just a couple shorted throws, but they were open.
Audrey Lyman then to Schumacher. Threads between 2 players. Lyman has it. Megan Paris into the game. She's made a cut downfield. Maggie O'Connor has it. That's a good throw into space now.
As I say that, all they've been doing is playing small ball right now. So what do I know? Nice breakthrough.
Throw from Schumacher a little bit high. Too high there for Natasha 1. And Lexi Garrity swats it away.
I mean, I like the idea, right? You've obviously seen the Cascades be successful by just throwing the disc out to the break side of the field. Obviously, it hung just a little bit. That resulted in that turnover. Hanging throws.
There we go. It's picked up by Angela I. Lyman to O'Connor. Calling for it in the end zone is Megan Perrin. It's just a little bit too high for her, unfortunate.
And again, I see what they're looking at. It's right now, these throws are just not dialed in yet. And my hope is again, we have still half a game to go, that these throws will start to dial in, and then these will be completions and goals.
This first half has flown by, just over 4 minutes remaining. Gillian has it. Well, Gillian, excuse me. Now to Sheena Titcomb.
It's a nice stop by Rex. Sheena was looking downfield. She flashed into that lane, stopped that throw.
And Spalding hurls one just too far for Lexi Garrity. And Garrity was well clear of Natasha 1.
It's in some ways they're sort of switching roles, right? You're starting to see the Cascades really open up the game. The FlameThrowers now seem to be trying to be more possession-oriented with their looks, playing with these unders.
Schumacher made a cut downfield, had a step on a defender. O'Connor didn't like the look. Now to Megan Perrin and Schumacher.
In so many ways, Gina's been sort of the general on this line. You can see, again, they've been sort of playing lines where a number of the players play together.
Here's an opportunity for Para downfield. Para gives chase, and it just floats away, and that laney wind just got a hold of the disc and tilted it away from her. This is unfortunate there. But she's got some fresh legs. We didn't call her name much in the first period.
And got another timeout. Again, we've seen this disc go from one side of the field to the other. Again, let's remind you, this is a much bigger field than what we're used to on the club division.
Cascades leading by 5 here with under 3 to go. Back in a moment.
Our smiles can light up a room. Our work can light up an entire city. We're the men and women of the IBEW, working with a code of excellence that guarantees the job will be done right, on time, and safely. We're lighting the path to the future. Let us show you just how bright that path is.
It was a 6-5 lead for the Cascades after one, but the FlameThrowers are yet to score a goal here in the second period, and now with just under 3 minutes to go, a lot of work to do.
Again, the FlameThrowers have had their chances. Let's remember that. This is not about the fact that, I mean, the Cascades are playing great defense, don't get me wrong, but this is a little bit of unforced errors on the part of the FlameThrowers. And by the way, I want to make a correction. I didn't realize when I was talking about Icky and a number of the other players, they're going to UW, not graduated from UW. Again, these are high school players. PX Rung is on the U20 roster. Nicole Kramer, again, going to UW. Ikran Elmi going to UW. These are teams that I'm a little afraid to be playing next year.
Steph Lim gets us back underway. And now a chance for the FlameThrowers perhaps to score their first goal of the quarter. Can they do so? And we get a call.
I think she just kind of knocked the disc out of her hand.
It was Lexus Stambor. She's wearing 47.
Well, too far.
Stambor searching for an outlet. Has to hurry here. Throws that one low. It's snagged by Patricia Anderson.
A lot of crowding next to the disc. Let's just open this up.
Throw was intended for Mallory Miser. She's wearing 21 for the FlameThrowers. Cascades player able to step in.
Yeah, but I think there was a stall call before that.
Cheers here to get a stop. Ladies and gentlemen.
So again, the goal aspirations of the FlameThrowers thwarted.
I mean, they're right on the doorstep right now.
And coming back to that one was PX Wrong.
And that was Hassler with the near D, but it was ruled a foul. Oh, gets it back.
Mallory Miser gets the FlameThrowers fans back on their feet. Time ticking away now in this first half of play. Throw around to the far side for Melissa Hassler.
They're saying she didn't get it off in time.
Another stall call.
Teams exchanging mistakes then here at the end of the first half.
I don't even know if it's mistakes. I think right now the FlameThrowers are so consumed with trying to find the right look that they're not just necessarily moving the disc.
Ismail has it. Under a minute remaining now in the first.
There's just 40 seconds left.
And a timeout is called. Coach Greeno steps to the field, calls timeout here with 35 seconds to go, and the FlameThrowers down by 5.
And my hope is that what Josh is doing right now is telling everyone, hey, stay calm. Let's just get the disc moving. You've had 2 stalls at this point. Our goal is to get the disc moving, keep the disc moving, and that'll create the space.
It's been a wonderful 2018 season here, courtesy of our sponsors, Waxy Sanitary Supply, the most trusted source in cleanliness business. Waxy Sanitary Supply by the Oakland United Beer Works, the best in local craft beer. And of course, Air Park, great long-term parking at Oakland Airport, conveniently located on 98th Avenue. We can't wait to have all of our sponsors, including the Catahoula Coffee Company, back for the 2019 season. They are the best local coffee roasters in the East Bay. The Bay Area Disc Association teaching ultimate in the East Bay to underserved kids. So we hope we'll all be back next April as we get the 2019 season underway. And what are your thoughts on where the league will be this time next year, as far as having open rosters perhaps on more teams than they do currently?
You know, my sincerest hope is that they will. I understand, and we this game, for those who are who've been, obviously, for those in the community have been paying attention, this game has been a response to a call from within the community to provide more opportunities for women. And obviously, I think there's some who will say that there's been that there's more that can be done. I'm excited to be a part of things that are moving the barometer forward. And my hope is that people who are watching this game, who are maybe perhaps even new to the game, are saying, hey, you know what, this is kind of fun, this is exciting to watch, and would be someone who want to come watch a game.
Kobe gives chase, but overthrown just a little bit. Now the Cascades may have the last possession of this first half. Spalding to the far side for Gina Tickham. Getting a hand in there was Lyman, and it was a foul called. Was indeed.
About 15 seconds left in the game right now. I mean, this is a chance for the Cascades to go up by 6, but they're going to have to move the disc.
That one floats a lot, and making an acrobatic play there is Lexi Garrity. Back to Gina Titcomb now.
Yeah, but we're running out of times.
Acrobatic.
Julia Butterfield, great D. Okay, beat it up. Put it up to her. Put it up to her.
Butterfield is wide open, and it's through her hands. Can you believe it? As the buzzer sounds for the end of the first half. Kind of the story of the half for the FlameThrowers. Oh, so close, but
so many
to score
chances.
A goal.
Yeah, so many chances for the FlameThrowers. But again, if you're looking at this as what you're doing in the second half, you've got to be excited the fact that you're getting the looks, and now you just got to dial it in.
Cascades perhaps just that little bit better in execution through the first half here at Lady College in Oakland. The Cascades 10, the FlameThrowers 5. We'll take a break here and come back to summarize first half replays on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green. Family owned, Gray's Paints is the Bay Area's leading provider of Benjamin Moore paint, stains, and finishes. Gray's Paint will provide you unparalleled paint expertise, environmentally friendly products, and premium customer service to help you successfully navigate your project. Gray's Paint and Benjamin Moore, available at 4 Bay Area locations: Burlingame, San Mateo, Redwood City, and Menlo Park. Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green.
What makes our restaurants different, the other taquerias, we have a very unique service where everything's cooked right in front of you. The meats are grilled right fresh in front of you. All the ingredients are made that day, natural ingredients, fresh produce, and natural meats. We have a happy hour that runs Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we have all the tacos are $1, beers are $2. We are famous for burritos. We seem to make just the right balance in the burrito, the right texture, the right moisture, juiciness, the flavor, very unique. We have 3 locations. We're a family operation, so we don't have a lot of locations, but we just have the 3 and run them hands-on, and to maintain all the quality, the service, and make sure everything is done right. My name is Guerrero Espinosa. and I'm one of the co-owners of Pancho Villa Taqueria, one in San Francisco on 16th Street, one in San Mateo and in B Street.
Nine different scores in for the Cascades in the first half of play here from Laney College in Oakland. And this elite top-level women's ultimate game is being led by the visitors from the state of Washington. 10-5 the score, and let's have a look at the highlights from the first half.
Again, we're just seeing some nice inside-out movement coming from the Cascades. It seems to be their bread and butter for today's game. And then some quick grabs, quick thinking coming from Tiffany Pham to get to that score. And then this was the throw from Kobe that Ellen did a great job just sort of boxing out. That resulted in a FlameThrower score. Oh.
This is a back and forth encounter in that first period, but the Cascades seem to step it up a gear in the second
And then the
period.
great play by Julia against the layout, picks herself up, throws the break throw for the goal. That's hard to do, I'll tell you that. And then the same thing, you're seeing the break side throws coming out of China Titcom, looking for Charlie Eide, known as Chidi. And then great Ds. Again, these are those plays we were talking about in the first half. They were just a little short, and there's some nice heads-up defense that was played by the Cascades, just some quick grabs. And then it was off to the races for the Cascades. And, you know, I'm not saying they've run away with it, but they've definitely built up a lead at this point.
5-goal lead here at the half.
And again, this is one of those instances where it was a stall, but again, there was just too many people around the Frisbee, and there was not really any great reset options for. And there was an opportunity there for the FlameThrowers to get the disc back, but unfortunately, in the end, it was the Cascades who scored that point.
Butterfield laying out again.
Again, that was that last layout, and she just had the chance in the end zone, just couldn't come down with it.
10-5 then the Cascades lead. We'll be back with the second half from Laney College here on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
I've been coming to Mobius for over a year, and it's changed my life. Ever since I started coming here, I've gotten in more shape. I've met great people.
If you're just new and you want to start out, you don't have to find your own way to do it. You get people that are showing you exactly what you need to do, so it gives you a perfect program.
The classes are great. There's high energy. We like to have a great time. They play great music, and we get a workout in super quick, and we can get on with our day.
One of our successes has always been able to find the B personalities, and the B personality just stands for Butler, which means fitting into our organization. We could have been a much bigger company if we had chosen to be, but it's been the philosophy of both myself, Bill, and the leadership team to stay at a size that we really know all of our team members and their family members, because we're only as good as the team member sitting next to us.
Our smiles can light up a room. Our work can light up an entire city. We're the men and women of the IBEW, working with a code of excellence that guarantees the job will be done right, on time, and safely. We're lighting the path to the future. Let us show you just how bright that path is.
Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green. Family owned, Gray's Paints is the Bay Area's leading provider of Benjamin Moore paint, stains, and finishes. Gray's Paint will provide you unparalleled paint expertise, environmentally friendly products, and premium customer service to help you successfully navigate your project. Gray's Paint and Benjamin Moore, available at 4 Bay Area locations: Burlingame, San Mateo, Redwood City, and Menlo Park. Go to Gray's. Gray's knows green.
Back live here on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network. Top level women's ultimate concluding this 2018 San Francisco FlameThrowers season. And it's the Cascades, the visitors from the state of Washington, with the 10-5 lead. I may add that in the 3 mixed games that have been played, the Cascades Cups of 2017 and 2018, and then, of course, the FlameThrowers Cup that was held here at Laney earlier this season, featuring the mixed teams of the Cascades and the FlameThrowers. The road team won each time. So maybe.
Oh wait, don't say that just yet.
Yeah, I know, but I just wanted to put that out there. It was a 17-16 victory for the FlameThrowers on the road in 2017. Seattle won 22-20 at the FlameThrowers Cup here at Laney, and then the Cascades Cup was won by the FlameThrowers 23-21. So will the home team take a victory? While we were in the commercial break, you and I were discussing the state of the game, really league-wide, but also at the high school level here in the state of California. You've worked with the Bay Area Disc Association. Tell us a little bit about that and where you think the game is headed in the state of California here at the moment.
And definitely, again, Bay Area Disc being one of the sponsors here, I've had the chance of being on the board of directors. I was on the board of directors for 7 years, and there was a very concerted effort when I joined 7 years ago to build Youth Ultimate here in the Bay Area. And 7 years is enough time to start to see some dividends. As I said earlier, I think we're a little bit like a generation behind Seattle in terms of the progress that they've been able to make and the amount of interest and the spread of high school ultimate in Seattle is obviously substantially more, but I certainly think Bay Area Disc is using, well, Disc Northwest, which is the organizing body in Seattle, as many ways a roadmap for how youth ultimate in the Bay Area is going to expand. And we're seeing dividends already. I mean, like, both in terms of the camps that are being run by Bay Area Disc, and there's been camps being run throughout this summer, both for new players and as well as experienced players. We've seen high school teams formulate, sometimes organically and sometimes with the assistance of Bay Area Disc. These high school teams are formulating their own leagues, and, you know, obviously I think the next question will be, is it going to be a sanctioned sport in high school?
When do you see that potentially happening? I know, for instance, off the top of my head, De La Salle, based in Concord, has
a great football team.
Yeah, a great every team. Actually.
Oh yeah, it's true, very great.
But they've sent out their high school team last year, and obviously it's not sanctioned by the North Coast section. But how long do you think it would take for the CIF to institute that sort of policy? Do you think it's something that's in the very near future?
You know, unfortunately, because I don't know enough about the mechanisms by which a sport becomes CIF approved. I actually know a little bit more about NCAA approval more than just because my background happens to be in college. But right. I certainly think that's in the future. In terms of a timeline, I don't think I ever want to commit myself to a timeline. I just can't say for certain. But I certainly think that as parents, I've talked to a number of parents who are just excited at the thought of a self-officiated sport. It's just something that both teaches conflict resolution skills for their kids. It teaches social emotional learning for kids. The benefits not only are you going to be in shape and you're going to run around a lot, right. but it provides real tools for kids, particularly at a young age. And being able to develop those skills, I think, for parents is very attractive. And it is usually the biggest selling point when we're on Bay Area Disc and we're talking to parents of young children saying, hey, here's what Frisbee is, here's what Ultimate does, here's the spirit of the game that we're using. And it's been fun to sort of see that internalized by both the parents and young players, and I fully expect that growth is going to continue. And I'm excited, very excited for the future of the sport.
Very quickly, before we get back to the second half of action here in Laney, where are some of the camps of the Bay Area Disc Association being held here in the Bay Area this summer?
Well, so I think we're at the end of the summer, but we definitely had some camps up in Marin. We had camps in Berkeley. There was, I think, a camp in San Mateo. Forgive me, some of this, my memory is a couple years ago as well. But again, just the growth of this sport, the interest in this sport has been phenomenal to watch. As a board member, it's been an utter pleasure to be a part of that board. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. They have now reached nonprofit status and are going, they're independent as well, and partly having to do with continuing that mission of growth, both on the youth division, providing playing opportunities for adults as well.
And we are underway.
Back underway here in the third quarter from Laney College. A lot of work then for the FlameThrowers to do, but as you said, Manisha, the FlameThrowers came mighty close at times in the second quarter of play.
Definitely, and I don't think I don't think this game is lost. I mean, I think there's an opportunity here. Hey, turnover to start. There it is.
And that was from Steph Lim, went right into the hands of Mara Saltzman, and just like that, the FlameThrowers give it back as Saltzman unable to make the catch that time. So here's Ismail sending this one downfield, and some defensive plays to start out this second half of play. That time it was Shyla Harris.
I can't even know how you can keep up right now. The disc has moved back and forth.
I looked down at my roster and it's turned over again. But now the Cascades have been able to capitalize on the goal-scoring opportunities all night long. Will they be able to do it this time? No, they can't. The commentators jinx strikes.
Maybe you should keep talking. I think it might be helping the FlameThrowers. You know, again, those turnovers for the FlameThrowers were just not making eye contact with your receiver. Again, you know, we're both this insistence of wanting to move the disc fast, but you also got to make those connections.
FlameThrowers quite wisely perhaps want to slow things down as a frantic opening minutes, and Butterfield uncorks that one. Nice adjustment made for the catch there by
And those
Ellen
are two mischief teammates working together. I'm not sure. Was she not in? I don't think she was in. That was a nice touch by Butterfield.
That was Myra Saltzman with the catch. Back to Butterfield.
And now, again, on the doorstep.
Butterfield surveys the scene. The one-handed catch is made for the goal. And it is Kobe with her first of the night. And the FlameThrowers have their first goal since the first period of play.
And again, all predicated from that first initial throw from Butterfield. And then a nice throw also from Ellen Rim, who, by the way, most people don't realize is actually an excellent thrower. She's usually the person coming underneath and getting the dishes, getting the little passes off, but she can rip it as well. And that was two nice throws from Mischief players, from Butterfield to Ellen Rim. Got him on the doorstep, and then a quick, easy pass to Kobe for the score.
You can hear the fans chanting Kobe's name outside here. They've really filled in here throughout the course of this game. An excellent turnout at Laney.
Yeah, the signs have been actually probably my favorite part. It's been the giant heads are a little scary, I'll be honest. But there's been some fun and creative signs in the audience right now.
The sign game is most certainly on point at Laney College tonight. So the FlameThrowers, since late in that first period, went 12, almost 13 and a half minutes without a goal, but they've tallied their first. And Kobe has her first of the night to join Lyman, Rim, Schumacher, and Butterfield as the goal scorers for the FlameThrowers. Here's Rory Tickcomb.
And looking for the around.
It's the upwind side. Steph Lim now to PX wrong. Lim distributing. Rory Tickcomb now.
And they're just looking
nice
for
play.
the around. And that is great heads-up play by Vivian Chu. Again, knowing that that's the look that they're looking for. She player. Great. Easy D.
Vivian Chu, by the way, wearing D.
Team Blackbird this. Little fun throw.
Oh, and the FlameThrower is unable to come up with it as Mallory Miza had two hands on the disc but couldn't hold on.
And just a drop, but it was great movement, quick movement. Again, what was her second quarter was holding the disc, making them move the disc, allows them to gain all that yardage. And they just got to close the door. They got to finish this.
So it's a 4-goal lead for the Cascades. Rory Tickcomb with the disc. Lim to her right. Lim has it.
And again, just playing small.
Count right is on Hartman. Had a catch by Lim. Work it to the upwind side. Wrong senses. Switch chase, and Titcomb reaches out with two hands and makes the catch for her second goal of the.
I mean, you don't normally see her downfield. And again, that was a down throw. Cascades use a lot of these break side throws, having their receiver down. It's hard for the defense to guard those things. If you're Josh Greener right now, you got to be aim about these throws away, or at least make them.
Rory Titcomb joins Charlie Eide and Audrey Lyman as double goal scorers on the night. The women must be loving the support they're getting from the crowd right now, who break into it after every goal is making some noise.
And again, I mean, this is what we're talking about. The case games are it's atmosphere, it's exciting, it's entertaining. I hope for the folks at home that they're been entertained by, you know, to have more games like this. There's got to be interest. There's got to be more demands for things like this. You know, in many ways, these teams, both the Cascades and the FlameThrowers, to what they've been hearing from the whole knowledge. For a lot of people, the response hasn't been perfect. The part about it is you have some talented players being able to go out and have some.
They the two teams really taken this to task as far as wanting to put themselves out of the subject.
Yeah, and again, the Cascades, you know, obviously owners, both were in many ways really field, as well as saying this is what we want to do. We want to be able to and demonstrate that there's interest in it. And that's a feeling that our community has. There's an interest in women's ultimate, and how do we get there? How do we then showcase that?
Goal scored in the meantime. I was just looking over to the far side to see who that was. Garrity taking the cap too. Double goals Cascades tonight. So cards on the table time. How does the women gain more overall? You
know, it's because you there's this a lot. You can't be what you can't see, right? People need to know that they're and then it presents as a spectator and guard. And so when you start there, that it starts getting the ball rolling. So we're seeing, as well as other things that are happening right now. For example, there's been the Asiatic All-Stars tour that's been happening. Coverage of all of those games. In the meantime, we've been seeing a lot of coverage, both the championship we were discussing. I mean, there was a number of online streaming networks that were present and providing content on this, and you know, who are very online world, being able to sort of internalize that content and be able to disseminate that content is what leads to interest in the game. And ideally, what we're hoping for is seats here, and you know, having a great crowd in person is important as being able to content online. It's what helps these teams.
You'd have to agree, though, that this is a game like all much more appreciated in person rather than watching it on the computer screen.
I mean, especially if you get a full range, and especially also again if you want to get your sign game on point, you got to show up. But these games are great because, you know, people get to bring in their food, they get to sit and interact with friends. Players that they were sold.
Plus, the music choice is always interesting here at Laney. Here, anything and everything from the Spice Girls to Abbott to, well, they play all college throughout the course of the season. Only on night, it's a little cloudy tonight, really nights throughout the season. So get on down, check out. And it's going to be a goal for.
And to be clear, let's talk about going to the break side. It was just thrown in the face. entire play was started by Mackenzie Bailey, who was about 4 passes before the scoring pass. You know, I'm a big, not just focus on what got to the score. Let's talk about what got you in the position to be able to score, and that started with Mackenzie breaks on, which allowed throw to Dozer.
I'm impressed you remember each step of the goal there without even having
So I have a photographic.
Yes.
And so it's fun as I'm coaching girls about a point and thinking about we don't.
How did you get into the coaching aspect of the game?
I was there's a fun story about that. I'm not sure if my coach would have appreciated it. I was basically stalked.
Well, we have a break. We're going to just step away for 1 second. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere here on 11 Sports USA, Online Sports Network. Welcome back to Laney College. Apologies for the brief technical difficulty. We are back with you from Laney College.
I was learning some dance moves by watching both the Cascades and the FlameThrowers right now.
There's definitely plenty to look at on both sides, that's for sure. Not to mention the fans keeping things interesting over here on the near side. So it's a 12-7 lead for the Cascades, who have not looked back since that first period. But the FlameThrowers, though, to their credit, with 2 goals now already in the third, are keeping it close. It's a huck downfield. 2 players in the vicinity for the FlameThrowers, and getting a hand to it was Mallory Miser.
And that was just a throw that just hung in the air. 2 FlameThrowers players coming in, sandwiching that D.
Ooh, nice acrobatic catch there.
And now we're just moving in the middle of the field. There's so much space in front of Megan Parra right now. Throwing the head pass.
And just a little touch on it there for Patricia Anderson, her first goal of the night.
And I think there's a discussion on the field at the moment. You can't see it on the screen at the moment, but
and we have ourselves a goal.
It looks like it was a goal. Again, that was great movement. It was just under. Megan Parra then just holding the disc, finding Patty Anderson. Ismail almost coming up with the D, but.
Let's give it up for Alexa and Mallory for getting that block.
So the FlameThrowers back to within 4 goals. Still plenty of time here in the third period. We're not even at the halfway point of the third.
And again, if we're keeping track, again, realize that at this point we're 2-2 in this third quarter, right? We started again with a 5-gun lead, but we are starting at 2-2 because the FlameThrowers opened the quarter with a break. And again, FlameThrowers getting those chances, right? They have these chances. It's just a matter of being able to convert.
wonder if they've been able to take a couple more of those chances back in the second.
Wow, plenty of time still. I'm not worried yet.
18 minutes plus of game remaining here at Laney's. The floodlights are taking full effect.
It's so much fun to play under the lights. See, and that's the thing. We're talking about, being here and being in front of the crowds. There's something about being under the lights, both as a spectator and as a player. It's just a fun environment to be a part of.
Ismail has it. That's Lim. Lim looks downfield, finds an open player. That's Captain Taylor Hartman. Turns and releases it, and a diving play by Ellen Rim breaks that up.
If you could hear me clapping Ellen Rim, that is a great D. Again, that was a break side throw, inside out. Ellen made up the ground, and then, of course, gets the disc.
That's twice you've clapped now tonight.
It's true. I get excited with great plays. That's the point of these games, right? Like, you have these great athletic plays that are exciting and fun to watch.
That's a superb throw from Steph Lim to Ari Aldebott, who has her second goal of the night. The Cascades score their 13th goal of the night.
Yeah, I mean, again, good defense, but just got to now, once you get that D, you got to maintain that possession. And again, that was a smart D by the Cascades to get the disc back. It was just a poached D into the lane. Ellen just didn't see the extra defender in that space. And then a nice around throw. I think that throw actually caught the wind a little bit, but in some ways I think it made that throw easier from Steph Lim.
And again, we mentioned it in the first period. I think it's worth mentioning a second time, though, that the wind here at Laney typically blows, if we're looking at the screen, from the top right corner of your screen diagonally to the bottom left. That throw into the teeth of the wind there by Steph Lim just held up long enough for Aldebott to make the catch. So back to a 5-goal cushion now for the Cascades.
And we're just seeing, again, a little bit more possession-oriented sort of offense. A couple deep looks coming, but just not, I think, connecting on the timing of these looks at the moment.
Stall count was rising on Angela I.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things when we're playing under different rules is to sort of remember, like, your internal clock now changes when you're playing under a different set of rules. For the majority of these women, club is in the rules of USAU is what they're used to playing, and I can imagine that's probably the biggest adjustment needing to be made for these players.
7-second stall count, but I think the refs are supposed to make mention at 5 seconds. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct, but again, it's sometimes hard, especially when you have your own internal clock. You may not be listening to what other people are telling you.
I can believe that.
And this is a chance now for the Cascades to sort of expand that lead, and they're just keeping the disc out. Gina's like, thank you.
Yeah, from A to right, out in front of Jess Spalding. FlameThrowers now with a chance to capitalize. Oh, Connor had a step on her defender. Looking for Schumacher. This hangs up a long time.
And Gina's like, I will take that back. Thank you.
Easy play there for Gina Tickham. Just continue to run into the center of the field. Downfield, Hassan has made a cut. Spalding has it.
Yeah, and to the point you were making earlier, those throws, again, just kind of get caught in the wind and just sort of sit up in the air, which makes it easy for the defender to come down.
And a diving play and a one-handed catch. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, hold on. Tosh needs to get the assist on that. Did anyone see that she got a piece of that? Let's see if we can get the replay here. That throw is an around throw. I'm pretty sure Tosh got a handle on that. And in some ways, I think she has to say she's going to get credit for that assist because I'm not sure Charlie Eady would have come down with that play. Spectacular grab by Charlie Eady, but I think just the general tip allowed her to catch that disc now.
Let's hope we can take another look at that after the break here on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
I've been coming to Mobius for over a year and it's changed my life. Ever since I started coming here, I've gotten in more shape. I've met great people.
If you're just new and you want to start out, you don't have to find your own way to do it. You get people that are showing you exactly what you need to do, so it gives you a perfect program.
The classes are great. There's high energy. We like to have a great time. They play great music, and we get a workout in super quick, and we can get on with our day.
Welcome back to Laney, the spectacular goal. A spectacular goal in from Charlie Eide, her third to lead all scorers on the night. A sensational diving, one-handed catch. And let's take a look at it one more time.
Women's Elite Ultimate will take on the champs of Women's Elite
Outstanding
Ultimate
catch.
USA.
It's a great grab.
Local team jury. Come and watch this exciting
We saw Leo Gaval laying out this season for the FlameThrowers, 50 goals for him to lead all FlameThrowers scorers. Has some stupendous diving catches, and that is definitely up there from Charlie Eide.
And again, when we talk about these, the importance of these games, it's to be able to create these highlight moments for these women. I mean, I've seen her make that play many times, but, you know, how often do you get to catch it on camera?
Right. FlameThrowers with a little extra pep in their step on this particular possession. Working into the downwind side. Here is Ellen Rim. And now Julia Butterfield. Rim was open. Can she get it around? She can, and Rim with two hands secures the second goal of the night. So the
And you know, those are just two teammates working together. I mean, they've been playing on Mischief together this year. Obviously, they're still new teammates, but you can already see both knew exactly where they wanted to get the disc, where they wanted to go with the disc. You know, again, I keep saying it. Sometimes you don't need the other five people.
So Kobe clapping in the background there, celebrating the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these women, I think, are just excited to be able to play with each other. This is a unique opportunity for these players as well. Coming from different club backgrounds, you don't get opportunities to play together or dance on the sideline like Lexa is doing it right now. And so imagine as a player, this has got to just feel so much fun. Like you have players here from Argo, Classy, Nightlock, Blackbird, Mischief on the side of the FlameThrowers. And these opportunities that we have to bring them together.
Now, you played with Nightlock. Do you still currently play for him?
I do. Yeah, I do currently play with Nightlock right now. And so for a lot of me, that's why I said I'm offering some critiques of my own teammates here. I hope they don't get mad at me later.
I think you've done an exemplary job of being fair to both teams so far, if I may say so. That was almost an acrobatic play made by the FlameThrowers, as going up for that one was Megan Parra. But it is instead Allison Horton scoring her first goal of the night with a fine catch.
And that is a creative inside-out throw. Again, what that was, actually she was a shown throw should have been the flick, but she throws an inside-out break. It's, again, hard to defend when it's on the break side. You know, Megan Parra obviously tried to close that gap. Great grab, however, by the Cascades.
I know you said you're familiar with not perhaps all the players from the Cascades, but who have you been most impressed with the way they've played tonight as far as Seattle's concerned?
I mean, I'm obviously the youngins. I mean, to look at Icky, to look at PX, to look at Tiffany Pham, you know, and no surprise, these are also players who've been playing on Underground as well. It speaks so much to the depth of Seattle Ultimate that I'm highlighting players that are not your Riot players, you know, and so people, I think, could traditionally view or consider just the women's team out of Seattle being Riot, but of course there's just so many. There's Seattle Soul, and of course Underground as well, and bringing in players from all three rosters for the Cascades. It's been really fun to see them all integrate together.
So Lyman gets this back underway. Taking towards the 3-minute mark of the third.
And I'm keeping Julia on the field. You noticed that she was in that last point too.
Lyman will have to get rid of it, which he does. Throws it a little bit behind Schumacher. And that one out a little bit in front of Natasha 1. Butterfield comes all the way back for this one. Angela. And that throw a little low from Maggie O'Connor.
It was good movement up until that point. Again, we saw the disc go laterally all the way to the far side of the field and come back. It gives these downfield cutters more space. Obviously, you can't necessarily see it on the screen, but if you were here in person, you'd be able to see it.
Temperatures cooled off slightly here at Laney College. Still quite pleasant compared to mid-April here at Laney, that's for sure. Spalding has the disc. One of key players for Seattle tonight, Ikran Elmi, going to the University of Washington, you said, next year?
Yes, going to UW. I have to look this up, guys. I wrote this down earlier. But I assure you, probably by the next year or two, we'll know exactly where she plays.
Lexi Hassan to Schumacher, bounces off a defender, floats that one in for O'Connor, who makes the catch. And Maggie O'Connor is on the score sheet with her first goal of the night.
It was great. Maggie just was like, I'm not going to move, just hit me. I hope we see a replay of that. You know, she was open, obviously, because the poach D came off. Gina came down with a great grab, but gave Gina the opportunity to just put the disc over the top. And you can see the D over there, and she just had to sort of set herself, put the disc over the top. Easy goal.
I know on our roster, Melina Wiebe was listed, but have not seen her here tonight. I don't know if she's here in person. She was outstanding, though, in the FlameThrowers Cup, the top female player with 3 goals and an assist. So it's unfortunate we don't get to see her participating in tonight's game either. As we already mentioned, Marissa Rafter. Also missing tonight, Cheryl Sue and Anne-Marie Gordon. Cheryl Sue played, of course, in the FlameThrowers Cup as well.
And again, it speaks to the volume and to the depth of the talent here in the Bay Area, right? That you're like, wait, where are all these other great players? And yet we're still seeing a roster of, 22 players here? Nice. Ellen Rim with a great team. I'm clapping again. I'm clapping here in the booth. You can't even see it. I'm clapping here in the booth. It's a great D by Ellen Rim, great closing speed, and just tips that disc away.
Let's take a look at the replay.
And it's just, you could see her slight adjustment. You see her sort of move laterally to the right and then be able to tip that disc away.
Mackenzie Bailey, that one out a little bit in front of Kobe.
I can't, and so unfortunately we couldn't see what on the screen what happened there, but it looks like there was 2 receivers in that space, and unfortunately just kind of put it in between both of them.
Rory threads this one, and wow, kept making a great catch and an almost even better throw than was Samia Ismail, But again, that awareness to turn and throw, and so close to being right on the money as that one was clipping the blades of the grass as it went.
Blades of turf.
Blades of turf. You know what I mean. Field turf, whatever it is.
Is it timeout called?
Timeout is called by Coach Joshua Greeno, just under.
Is that correct? Did I see that? Yeah.
He's out in the field.
He's like, if it's not a timeout, it's about to be one.
Yeah. He'll call the teams over. We'll take a break here on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network. So 11.4 seconds remaining in this third quarter of play. It's still a 5-goal cushion for the Cascades.
And I can see why Josh took the timeout, right? You have 12 seconds or about 12 seconds left in this game. You're stuck on your own sideline. You have to know that this is an opportunity that you need to take advantage of.
Sure.
So he's calling a play right now, trying to figure out how can we get the full length of this field in these next 12 seconds. Smart timeout by Josh. Now the question, of course, is can the FlameThrowers come through?
And who do you expect to have the disc to huck it downfield?
So it looks like, having just seen who's in that last point right now, we saw Michelle McGee was in that point. Obviously someone I fully trust with the disc. Julia Butterfield is on this line as well.
Passing.
You have your throwers, and it's just a matter of getting those throws off. And in terms of receivers, I'm trying to look downfield right now. Who's there?
Let's see, Kobe is in there. They've got Tricia Anderson, I believe. We'll see once this breaks here.
And Dozer's on too. Yeah. It looks like we've added some time back onto the clock.
We have. I was just about to say that. We've added about 2.5 seconds or so. So 14 seconds remain here in the third.
And smartly, I think you're seeing the Cascades say, okay, well, then we're going to start with a double team. We're going to put you in the corner right now. Get it off this sideline.
So Shayla Harris has it. Puts this one out in front of Mackenzie Bailey.
All right. Now they have to start thinking about the clock. There's 3 seconds left. Someone's got to realize you got to put it up.
There's the Hawk.
And unfortunately, what ended up happening is a lot of time was lost with the lateral passes. When you are trying to get a full, what are we talking about? 80 yards in 14 seconds. Your throws really have to be deliberately going upfield to make up that ground.
15-10 Cascades then maintaining the 5-goal lead here. A quarter to go from Laney.
And again, 5 goals lead, not insurmountable.
We have to thank our sponsors here in 2018, Cliff Bar. For the healthy and active player, grab a Cliff Bar and eat healthy. By Boone Technical Clothing, the clothing partner for the AUDL, and the FlameThrowers. Boone Technical Clothing is a performance sports apparel company based in the Philippines. Focusing on quality, Boone aims to give athletes the edge to perform. By the Kinetic Arts Center, Circus Fitness and Inspiration. By the Minuteman Press of Berkeley, a great community partner and fantastic local printing. By Waxy Sanitary Supply, the most trusted source in cleanliness business, Waxy Sanitary Supply. And the Oakland United Beer Works, the best in local craft beer. And, of course, Air Park. Great long-term parking at Oakland Airport. It's conveniently located on 98th Avenue.
It's great that so many of these investors and partners are local, right? Like, these are local businesses that are vested in this as an organization and as a sport, as an opportunity to bring families out and to, have a good time. Because right now what you're seeing on the screen right now is that they're giving away Frisbees right now into the crowd. And players are just throwing them out if you want to have one.
And they've given away a ton of them this year. I mean, at every halftime they throw, or halftime or between the gap in the third and the fourth quarter. I mean, they must have given away hundreds of them at this point, both the big ones and the little ones.
Again, another reason it's just fun to be out here. It's fun to be out in the seats. I know sometimes for some people it's cold and it's nice to be at home, but it is really fun to hang out with your friends, get to cheer on the women that you admire, and I get to see some dance moves.
See down there on the sideline, Patricia Anderson is
she is a show person. She's a show person. She's really fun to play with.
I think they've thrown the discs back out now so she can throw them back into the crowd again.
Definitely.
No, it's a great atmosphere. Probably, I'd say, of all the games I've been to this season, this is certainly the one that they've definitely got the crowd involved, and it's really, really quite nice to see. Fourth quarter underway as Cheetah Titcomb sends this one towards the FlameThrowers. Great pull. And that's into the direction of the wind, too. Makes it even more impressive.
Again, 12 minutes is not too little time to make up this gap. It really is enough time. It's just a matter of being able to make sure that the FlameThrowers continue to move the disc, maintain possession. Again, right now I'm seeing a little bit of holds, and they just need to move the disc. They need to be comfortable with the idea that they can just move the disc. There's a lot of space downfield, and they'll find their receivers.
Saltzman has it. Back to the center now for Hassan. And a collision. No. And surely a foul given there. Clean.
So there's a discussion right now. What's happening is I think you may have heard on the broadcast is this question of if there is a foul or not. Obviously, in the AUDL, the umpire is making a call, but players are permitted to override those calls.
It's Lauren Patty and Julia Butterfield having the conversation. They shake hands.
And it looks like Butterfield's going to keep the disc.
San Francisco will retain possession.
It certainly seemed like Patty stood her ground and gave a little bit of a shove to Butterfield. Now Butterfield, and it's through O'Connor's hands. O'Connor had a goal in the third period of play, could have had a second, just unable to hold on.
And again, right, you get there, you're getting your chances, and now at this point, you got to score. I mean, at this point, especially if you're thinking in the fourth quarter at this point, you got to make those 5 goals back up. They're getting their chances and just got to now finish the point.
Chance of defense come up from the FlameThrowers, and it worked. A rare mistake there from Gina Titcomb, and now an opportunity for the FlameThrowers to capitalize.
Audrey's like, let me just get some more yards with the roll here.
Wind-assisted roll there, perhaps. Lyman to Natasha 1. Back to Lyman.
And just on the doorstep.
And finding the open player for the goal. And it's Mara Saltzman. That's her first. And that opens the account of the FlameThrowers here in the fourth quarter of play.
And again, Audrey right now just looking for the open receiver. There is the space available. You just got to clear out the space in front of the disc.
So 1:47 seconds off the clock, but the FlameThrowers are within 4. That's as close as they've been since they were down 6-5 after 1 quarter of play here at Laney.
And again, that was a hold for the FlameThrowers. So at this point now, that D-line's got to come on and say, okay, we need to get a break now. The Cascades at this point are going downwind. And so, I fully expect to see some more deep looks coming from the Cascades going in this direction.
It's going to be a short pull then from Patricia Anderson, but it will get a little bit of a roll. And as I say that, it swirls back towards the FlameThrowers half of the field. So a short field now for the Cascades to work with. Not trailed by fewer than 4 since the first period of play. Here's Rory Titcomb.
And what's nice is for the most part, we are seeing the FlameThrowers sort of shut down that open side. But thus far, the Cascades have been very good about maintaining possession to this break side of the field.
So far side now for Tiffany Pham. Back to the middle for Rory Titcomb. Titcomb, oh, what a throw. Can Ismail get that? She can't, but great vision all the same by Rory Titcomb to pick her out.
And she's given her, hey, I see you. And so, again, now this is the D-line's chance to get that break, right? This is our D-line picking up the disc. You're seeing the Cascades smartly start with the double team trapped in the corner, saying get it off, work to get it off.
Oh, and through the hands, and a collision now is... It was Mallory Miser there colliding with the feet of Gina Titcomb.
A nice inside-out throw, just bobbled that throw. A little collision. I can imagine both players on the older end of the spectrum in this sport looking at each other saying, are you okay, are you okay? Obviously, as players here, you're here to showcase a game, but no one wants to get hurt.
Luckily, outside of that collision between Butterfield and the Cascades player back in the first,
it's been a clean game.
Yeah, definitely. And it was Rory Titcomb, not Gina, that was involved in the collision just then. So, can Hartman and the Cascades make the FlameThrowers pay on this particular possession? Under 9 minutes. There's the throw from Titcomb, and the goal for Samia Ismail. That's her first.
For people who watch at home, that was a clinic on how to break your mark by Rory Titcomb. So she shows the outside throw, she fakes it back inside, but really what she wanted was that outside throw. She got the defender to bite and gets the throw she wants.
11 different scores now on the night for the Cascades. When the Cascades ended the hopes of the open team's playoff ambitions, they had 15 different scores. So I wonder if we'll see quite that many here tonight. But again, like in that 31-20 victory for the Cascades on the final day of the season, they've done an excellent job of distributing the scoring, and they're doing the same here tonight as well.
Again, and that's a reflection of, I talked to Rory before this game started. She'd been telling me that, a bunch of these players had been practicing. Not this entire roster had not had a chance to play together up until this past week. But a number of these players had been practicing and working together throughout the AUDL season, knowing this game was coming. They wanted to make sure that they were ready for it and took it seriously because they understand this is an opportunity to showcase this game, not only and highlight both the depth of ultimate frisbee here in Seattle, and it's showing.
Angela I center for Natasha 1. That throw a little high, and it just stays up long enough for catch to be made. Gina Schumacher.
She has a knack for just understanding where the disc is up and just coming back to get it.
Keeps this point alive for the Flamethrowers. That's the throw around and a catch and a goal. It's Audrey Lyman, number 3 for her.
I'm not sure if she was throwing that to Audrey. I'll be honest. We'll see the replay right here. I think she was looking at Maggie, but heads up play by Audrey to recognize that the disc was up. And so we're looking here. We're seeing the angle, sort of what Gina's seeing, and just kind of bends around Maggie O'Connor, and then Audrey Lyman just there for the easy catch.
So the intended target there was O'Connor, but with the carry and the angle of it coming back around,
hey,
Lyman
it's still
well
a score. It's still a score.
Well,
I mean,
that's what the Flamethrowers need at this point, right?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you're going to take what you can get at this point. You got 8 minutes left, and your D-line has gotten you the Ds. It's gotten you the turns, but they do need to capitalize.
Kobe gets this back underway. And you can see the wind just really put the kibosh on that throw. Just a few yards over the halfway stripe here for the Cascades now with Taylor Hartman. Throw a little low, but Pham, did she dig it out? She did. Looking for Allison Horton. Steph Lim comes underneath, wants the disc, gets it, has Alderbott out to the outside of the acrobatic effort to reel that in.
Oh, I thought she was going to throw it.
There's a couple of moves there by Hartman, and an opportunity and a goal for the Cascades.
And that was really nice movement. It was nice movement across the board. You just saw the distribution of the disc between all of the players. I mean, you're making this point earlier that the number of players that have been involved in the Cascades scoring is reflective also in how their offense runs. Their offense runs through all of their players, and it makes it a very hard team to guard when everyone is a threat and everyone has an opportunity to be able to get the disc underneath or away. You know, we're seeing the replay right now.
Not sure if you caught that final game played between the Cascades and the Flamethrowers, but the game plan executed by Seattle tonight is eerily reminiscent of what we saw.
I wonder why.
Here a week ago. Well, they have an interesting coaching setup in Seattle. It's a little different than some other teams, perhaps, as far as the coaching staff, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can add to that. I mean, it seems like sometimes it's by committee, and whether it's Exton with the open team or Rory with the mix and the women's.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously there's some element of familiarity between the Titcombs. So I imagine, like, both, like, strategically they're very similar. And we have an open receiver. I'm not sure Rex saw that.
There was Stambo that was wide open downfield. That's a nice catch by O'Connor.
And she's just waiting in the middle of the field saying, someone want to hit me? Someone want to hit me? No?
Here's Stambo. And a throw and a catch by Schumacher. That throw was lasered in there. And now the Flamethrowers find a way back inside. They can, and a goal and another clap. And it's now Alexis Stambo with her first goal of the night. She had a goal and an assist during the regular season, and now adds a name to the score sheet.
So we were seeing from the Cascades a little bit more of a poachier style of defense, and which is what allowed Lexus to sort of continue to remain open in the middle of the field. You know, sometimes the smartest receivers understand that moving less might be your best option, and that's what USADA saw. She stood in the middle of the field, understood she wasn't covered, and said, let me wait for my throwers to find me.
So the Flamethrowers still hanging around, but they've been unable to get within 4 goals. Still half of the fourth quarter.
But they can chuck and jive, man.
Yeah. Man, if you saw Leo Gaval's dance moves when he scored his 13 against the Cascades during the regular season, Flamethrowers are born to dance, it seems. I didn't know how he could, after scoring 13 goals and just being all over the place, how he had any energy left to dance after some of the goals that he scored that night.
I mean, I think there's an energy to being out on the field and to being able to play the game. Everyone's like, where's the Frisbee? Both for the women's players that we're seeing today. I mean, I realize it's a Friday night for many of these, almost all these women. They've either flown in or been working. But they're here because they love playing this game and they want to show an opportunity to showcase women's ultimate. And like I said, we hope that you're entertained both at home and obviously those people here in the crowd having a good time as well.
Uncorking this one, giving chase, and unable to make the play was Megan Parra.
Yeah, Vivian saw the open, Chu saw the open look and just sort of, the disc just tailed away. But Megan Parra was wide open in the end zone.
Before we take home to a sliding Ari Alderbot. Hartman. 5.5 to go here at Laney. Good exchange of passes there between Steph Lim and Elmi. And that went out in front of Ismail.
And nice heads-up play by Vivian Chu to just say, all right, we're just going to put that disc down. And now again, FlameThrowers have an opportunity.
Making a cut, getting ahead of the rest of the players is Melissa Hassler. Hassler has to wait for some reinforcements to arrive, and it's through the hands of...
There's a Vivian Chu there.
Yeah.
But, it was a smart play. You obviously had Alexa Soundbog running deep. The decision was to sort of hold the disc there, allow reinforcements to come. That throw was just a little too high. But it's the right decision. I mean, for those of you who are like me, like to talk about decision-making and what you're looking at the field, the temptation would have been to throw to Alexa, but the smart call is to, hey, let's wait for our teammates to show up, dish the disc off, and then you're going to get an easier pass.
Injury on the field, and the substitute, Gina Schumacher, in for Vivian Chu.
Chu was actually injured on that play, so Schumacher was in to replace her. So the Cascades with the disc and with time in their hands at the moment. Alderbot has made a real deep cut there, but they go back to the middle.
I thought Gina was going to get that.
Nicole Kramer. Lim.
And for the Cascades right now, just understanding that we are playing under different rules, their benefit right now is to just keep possession.
And as seconds tick by, and there's a nice defensive play by Hassler, who's come up on the last couple of points for San Francisco, but looks like a foul will be called against her. She went into the back of the Cascades player. That was Charlie Eide.
We're just looking at a replay of it. And again, Charlie was a little bit ahead of her, which is why I think where the foul call is coming from. And a turnover. So, again, right now, this is the D-line of the FlameThrowers, and they've had a couple opportunities. They've gotten the disc close to the end zone. Really need this score at this point.
Cascades employing the double team in the corner. Well, this is a dangerous throw, but stays up long enough to be caught. FlameThrowers backed up well in their own half of the field.
And at this point right now, again, you got to really spread the field out. We're just trapped on the sideline, seeing Patty Anderson move up.
And a whistle and a turnover. A travel call, excuse me.
So everyone's coming back.
Coach Greeno wildly gesticulating to get his players to return. And a turnover now, and might that have been the final opportunity for the FlameThrowers on that possession? Really, Seattle just have to hold on and chew the time off the clock here. And this throw is high. Can it stay up long enough for a bid? It can't. It's Taylor Hartman just a couple steps behind.
Yeah, at this point, then the clock is really not your friend if you're the FlameThrowers. It looks like there's a timeout called, and I think smart. You want to both. Your legs are tired at this point.
Final moments then coming up after this on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
One of our successes has always been able to find the B personalities, and the B personality just stands for Butler, which means fitting into our organization. We could have been a much bigger company if we had chosen to be, but it's been the philosophy of both myself, Bill, and the leadership team to stay at a size that we really know all of our team members and their family members, because we're only as good as the team member sitting next to us.
Time very much in the favor then of the Seattle Cascades here as they lead 17-13 with 2 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in this first ever meeting of the FlameThrowers and the Cascades top level women's ultimate, and it has been a joy to watch tonight.
It's actually really fun right now. If you're watching on the screen, for those of you at home, I mean, they're actually discussing defense right now. You can see Chyna sort of providing insight to her players of like, hey, here's this rule that we get to use in this game, which is the double team. This is how we should be positioning ourselves in order to make that defense effective. And, you know, I think for all these players, kind of like changing your mindset into a different set of rules, I'm sure has been both fun and challenging.
Right off the play made by the FlameThrowers, so they have the disc and really need to make something happen here with just over 2 minutes to go.
Throws up in the air. Nice grab.
Now the FlameThrowers have it, excuse me.
Yeah. And by the way, we're also seeing some fresh players after the timeout right now. These are different players than what we were seeing before that timeout happened.
Here's Hydra. Throw a little wild, and it's corralled by Wrong. And nice defensive play there.
And for those of you who had not had a chance to see Shyla Harris play at college nationals the last couple of years, that's what she's known for. She's known for coming up with big defensive plays in the air.
So a minute 20 to go. It's pretty clear, safe to say who the winner is now. And
great grab.
Catch. Wow. My Lexi Garrity. Jess Spaulding has it.
Oh, and just couldn't make the second play.
But with the Cascades taking this inaugural women's matchup, obviously the winner tonight is the sport of ultimate.
I'd like to hope so. Again, you know, this is an opportunity to showcase women's ultimate. And for those of you watching at home, the sincerest hope is that you're coming out of this saying, hey, you know what? This seems to be something that will be really cool to see more of. And that's how it starts. That is a great grab by Ellen.
Do we get one more clap?
Something got called, but that was an awesome grab.
That was with the hand inverted. Looked like grabbing it with the fingertips.
Oh, I think there was a stall. It takes away from what was a phenomenal grab. But you know what? That's still making the highlights. There it is. There's the replay. Great grab by Ellen Rim with a little flare at the end as well.
And a goal for the Cascades will seal the deal for Seattle as it's Ada Wright who adds her first goal of the night. That makes, by my tally, 12 different scores on the night for the Cascades.
I mean, a great overall performance by the Cascades, obviously utilizing their women, utilizing different styles of play. All of these women coming from, you know, different Seattle-based teams. We're talking about, you know, when the women's division, Riot, Underground, Soul. We're talking about in the mixed division as well. And as I said, a number of high school players who are young college-level players who've been integrated really, really well into this roster. And it's a credit to both, you know, the Cascades in their interest in wanting to put this on, but of course also to just the depth that is Ultimate Frisbee in Seattle. It's a joy to watch, and as I said, for those of you watching at home, I need you to know these are going to be household names in the next 10 years. You know, we're talking about players who are right now 18, 19, 20 years old, who at this point are able to play high-level Ultimate Frisbee and are going to continue to only get better.
So the last few minutes then, what has been certainly a night to remember for both teams, but it will be the Cascades that will travel back up north with the victory. And time for one more spectacular play in the catch that just shy by Lauren Patty. And that will be it. The Cascades will run out winners. Was the goal given, though, with the buzzer about to sound?
I think they got it in before the buzzer. I think they did.
And I believe that was Hessen for number 2. Well, they put time back on the clock, so it was Hessen with the goal.
I think the crowd is demanding more time on the clock.
I don't think they want this to end, do they?
No, I mean, again, like, it's such a fun opportunity to be able to showcase your own individual teams, women's ultimate as a whole. You don't want it to end. You want to, and especially right now, using the AUDL rules. I mean, everyone wants to see the spectacular last play. But, for those of you here in the crowds, it's been for those of you not here, the crowd has been wonderful. It's been really fun. The players obviously are enjoying themselves. And I've had a great time too. Stephen, working with you as well. It's been
it's definitely been something that I hope will go the way of the FlameThrowers in the Cascades Cup and have a women's championship home and home, if you like. With similar prestige on the line, it certainly deserves to be the case. I think the FlameThrowers will have the disc one more time, uncorking one downfield, and it is swatted away, and it's the Cascades.
Hey, that was a great last play. I mean, it was a nice pass up in the air, but exciting game. Great, for a statement win for the Cascades, who have been really at the forefront of trying to move the needle forward in terms of gender equity. I'm sure the Titcombs are incredibly pleased with tonight, and the opportunity for the FlameThrowers to participate in an event like this, help host an event like this. I can imagine that on everyone then there's a smiles on everyone's face, because having events like this, having an opportunity to showcase women's ultimate is always exciting. And again, these women were ready to come out to play, and they did.
We'll take a break here on 11 Sports USA and the Bay Area Online Sports Network and wrap it up right after this. A nice sight then as the two teams pose for post-game photographs in the Cascades with a memory to treasure as they had 19-13 victories. I just wanted to go back to something that you said quickly. I talked to Gina Titcomb after the FlameThrowers Cup game, how excited she was to take the victory down here, and also the despair of missing the inaugural Cascades Cup with the torn ACL. So, as you said, I'm sure she's going to be really pleased heading back up north tonight.
Definitely. I think for all these players who participated in today's event, they've got to be happy with being able to participate. I imagine as the FlameThrowers, these are competitors. These are women who are probably going to look at this game and say, we could have played better. But that's just credit to the type of athletes these players are. You could even see at the end of that game, you saw like Julia Butterfield near the end of that game hit the ground, shoot in frustration because she wanted to be able to play a game and come out with a win. And, even if for one game, when you have competitive athletes on the line, they want to come out and get the win. Obviously, Cascades took it tonight, but FlameThrowers got to hold their heads high as being able to showcase a phenomenal game of Ultimate tonight in Oakland.
Excellent scenes there as the two teams pose for one photograph. Let's take a look at the second half highlights.
Again, one of the highlight D's from Shyla Harris. Pass over from Butterfield into Kobe. And those are some of the early highlights that we were seeing at the beginning of the game. Obviously, as the game wore on, got later into the night, We're still seeing some highlights from the Flamethrowers, but again, this is probably the game of the play of the game. I apologize. Great grab by Charlie Eide, and then also a really nice grab here in the end zone as well.
The Charlie Eide grab would not be out of place on any AUDL highlight reel that we've seen this season so far.
Or a SportsCenter highlight reel. I mean, that's the type of plays that these women make on the regular basis. And again, having the opportunity to showcase that on an online forum or a live forum, I think is huge for the sport. It's huge for these women as well. It allows us to talk about the future of the sport, which I'm really excited for.
Where does it go from here from tonight?
I mean, I think that there's going to, at least my hope is that, again, we're moving the barometer forward. Again, that play I was talking about with Julia Butterfield. We're moving the barometer forward. We're having more sustained conversations about what the sport should look like. How do we integrate these incredibly talented women, both on the field and off the field? What does that look like? Obviously, we're going to have more discussions, both as owners, as a community. But again, my sincerest hope is we'll keep talking.
And I think this is going to go a long way to keeping the conversation certainly in the forefront of everyone's minds as we head into championship weekend and then, of course, the off-season as well.
Definitely, and I know that the AUDL obviously is still in full swing, but for teams like the Cascades and the Flamethrowers, they're making their efforts to say, hey, this is something that we're hearing from the community, we're responding to the community, and, in order for this to continue to move forward, I think, my hope is that we'll get more interest and involvement both from women in our sport and also hopefully from investors outside the sport as well.
The Seattle Cascades then in the first matchup of the Flamethrowers and the Cascades in top-level women's ultimate take a 19-13 victory here on a night to remember at Laney College in Oakland. For our entire broadcast crew, including our producer Jim Patramili, for Manisha Daryani, it's been an absolute pleasure. My name is Stephen Davies. The Cascades triumphant here against San Francisco Laney, 19-13. Till next time, ciao for now.
Good night, y'all.